The Bitcoin breakout is already starting, or we could argue that we're still trading in this ascending triangle. And on today's update video, I'm gonna be exactly discuss all my price targets of these patterns, discuss the ETF flows on Bitcoin, and more importantly, how historically the previous successful ETF, which was the gold ETF, have also performed. I'm gonna be doing a deep dive into altcoins, what is currently happening, because we're seeing a major shift happening in this major altcoin market right now here. So I'm gonna be talking about that, about the most important charts and patterns which are telling us exactly what is happening right now here. So without any further ado, guys, on today's update video, I've got so much information prepared here. So can we once again slap up that like button back above 1,000 likes will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. And first of all, we're seeing that basically on the imminent short term here, Bitcoin is consolidating. Yesterday, it started to see that breakout. We once again broke back in towards the symmetrical triangle. And basically right now, we're just consolidating ever so slightly above this resistance. And basically, if we're just looking at the 4-hourly time frame, we're seeing that the breakout has already took place and that we're moving up and down exactly towards that level where we actually first of all found some resistance at. And as I have talked about this level as well yesterday, and I said that if we're going to be seeing a breakout, the price target of this breakout is going to be bringing us somewhere up to 98 to 97,000 US dollars. That is still going to be my price target where I'm going to be aiming for. And in all honesty, maybe we are not approaching this as a breakout yet here, and we're just looking at an ascending triangle. And honestly, an ascending triangle is also a bullish bias continuation pattern, which always tends to get created after very exponential rallies upwards. And basically what that means here, this pattern is literally showing us we're seeing a resistance getting formed on the top side where we're getting rejected from, and the support is just sleeping upwards, which means that we're seeing very strong price action right now. There are still more buyers in the market, and we're basically compressing before the next major breakout. So in all honesty, however you're going to be approaching it, Bitcoin is actually still looking quite bullish. And yesterday as well, we saw over 90 million US dollars worth of inflows from the spot Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock. In general, we saw over 250 million US dollars in inflows, and that of course marks a good start of the week. And what we can also see here is that if we're going to compare the Bitcoin ETF on the same time horizon to the gold ETF, guys, we can clearly see that whenever the gold ETF was approved, we basically saw for many years to come major rallies in value. And I mean, for Bitcoin as well, Bitcoin has been the most successful ETF launch in history. And honestly, if we're going to be putting it on the same time horizon, and Bitcoin is still very small if we're going to compare it to gold, because gold is more than 10 times as big right now as Bitcoin at this moment of time. So the gains that we can still take from here on for Bitcoin are just immense here. So sometimes it's really time to zoom out. And if Bitcoin is going to be overtaking gold, it's going to be valued around 980,000 US dollars, which is of course a quite insane target if you would ask me. And in my opinion, Bitcoin is much better than gold. Then of course we do know that the search interest on Bitcoin is returning, and what is actually interesting, that the spend output on Bitcoin has just hit a 3-year high. On orders below 100,000 US dollars, Bitcoin spend has just hit a 3-year high. And this basically means that retail is really returning. Of course, we already knew it from, of course, these Google search interest charts. I can see it from my data from my YouTube channel. I can see it from the data from my X page. So what we're currently clearly seeing is that retail returns. And usually what happens whenever retail starts to return is that we are going to get that altcoin season. And I mean, if we're just looking at the altcoin season index, it is likely that we're probably going to see another push higher since we created a W pattern over there. And if you don't know how the money flow works in this cycle, it is completely different than previous cycles. If you want to learn that, make sure to check this video that I uploaded yesterday here about my plan on how to make millions trading meme coins. Since, yeah, definitely this cycle, the money flow is going to be a little bit different, and I want you to understand this cycle. So also what we're seeing currently, that the entire altcoin market is basically starting to be breaking out. The Bitcoin dominance is creating a major rising wedge here, and I said this multiple times here already, but according to history, like 19 to 21 days out here before the actual altcoin season is going to get started. I mean, I do want to be pointing out here that I don't believe that exactly in 21 days the altcoin season should be starting, but what I do want to be pointing out here is that like altcoin season is likely going to get started in this region somewhere around there. So that is very important to understand. You can see it also from off this chart, like all the data points are providing and indicating us the fact that altcoin season is likely to get started anytime soon here. And like we can see, if we're going to compare Bitcoin to Ethereum, yeah, whenever Ethereum is going to be starting to be breaking above that all-time high here, that is the point where really we're going to be expecting altcoin season is going to get started. And now Ethereum is still massively lagging behind the fact of Bitcoin. And maybe that's due to the fact that we of course have Solana this time around being much bigger. I think that's going to be a big play here of this reason and why Ethereum is right now so much lower value compared to the previous cycle. But basically, yeah, the start of altcoin season will only get started whenever we do break above that all-time high historically. But of course, I do believe that this cycle is a little bit different. And just like I showed you with this cycle, I mean, large caps are not only Ethereum, no, it's also massively Solana. I believe Solana is going to be a huge player in this cycle, and that is why I want you to understand the new money flow. Then also we're seeing a bullish crossover happening on the MACD, on the total market cap, excluding the top 10 here, which is of course a great thing to be seeing. And yes, if we're going to be looking at the altcoins volume dominance compared to the Bitcoin volume dominance, we are starting to see that for the first time in a year or so, altcoins are doing more volume than Bitcoin, and that clearly shows you the interest in altcoin season and in altcoins in general. And yeah, just like we had in previous bull markets, the deficit between those two volumes were much bigger than it is currently. So I believe there could be much more coming. And guys, if you want to be trading these altcoins and if you want to be benefiting from the massive volatility of what is about to be happening over there, don't forget to check out Blofin, because Blofin is the exchange where you can trade without any KYC. And if you go to the highest link description of today's video, sign up at the carrier using this link below, guys, you will be able to get a $10,000 deposit bonus, which is in my opinion quite an insane deposit bonus. And this is the exchange with the most amount of future listings. And especially if you want to be trading an altcoin, guys, look at these coins that they have listed. They are listing all these coins very quickly. So if you want to be benefiting from any volatility or any new upcoming listing, you should definitely check out Blofin in the link in the description of today's video. Further on, we are currently seeing that Bitcoin is still trading in a major trend here. And I want to be pointing out here is that the breakout is likely about to be getting started anytime soon here. And whenever this breakout starts for Bitcoin, we're going to be pushing up to a new all-time high. And most likely altcoins at that point as well are going to be performing very well here. So yeah, we're seeing the bull flag pattern is breaking out. My price target is still $120,000. And if we're going to be comparing the Bitcoin to a gold breakout, we are likely going to be seeing an even bigger push higher. And I would only start to say that the market is overheated whenever the monthly time frame for Bitcoin is also creating either a bearish divergence or either is extremely overvalued. So guys, whenever I see the market is going to be topping out, you will be the first one to know if you do watch my channel. Bitcoin is about to go into the banana zone. And yes, that is of course a thing I am very excited about here. So also the exchange reserves are extremely heavily dropping, even lower than the low of 2021 here, indicating there's less and less Bitcoin available to scoop up here. And as less Bitcoin is getting available, it is going to be harder to get your hands on it. And as it is getting harder, the price is of course ultimately going to be increasing. Then also we're going to be looking at the daily time frame at the 100 and 200 daily moving average. Guys, we're seeing a bullish crossover happening right now. And the last time this happened was in the end of 2023, where Bitcoin of course had a massive surge afterwards. So once again, bullish crossover happening right now. Extremely bullish in my opinion. Also, just in a bigger perspective, Bitcoin is right now in the middle of this parabolica. We're about to be entering the banana zone where we actually go in the most exponential rally higher, and that is really the time where you do not want to be fading the market. So all the charts are basically pointing out we're going to be seeing something used. I mean, on these bigger perspective, guys, I can't really say too much because it's very similar to yesterday, but on the immediate short term, however, we're just looking at this new consolidation phase, which is about to be breaking out here. Or you can argue, okay, we're already breaking out and we're about to be starting the next leg higher, right? So very excited about it. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching towards the amazing new update video. If you did learn something from it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.